It feels like life's become too overwhelming. Like in modern day, everybody's trying to sell you something. Every Instagram, like every Instagram story leads to a funnel, leads to a sales page, leads to a email list, which then leads to a product pitch, which then you buy, and then you're in someone else's community and all that crap. And then all big corporations are shoving ads down your throat, and they're everywhere, like Doritos, Coke, Microsoft. There's so much consumerism, and it's so deep that it's almost overwhelming at this point. There's too much stuff. Like everywhere you turn to and everywhere you look, you're expected to buy something because there's always an ad. Even if you don't think there is, someone's trying to sell you something. Like if you receive something for free, the odds are is that you're the product. And it's just so frustrating because it's super difficult to trust anybody in a type of environment where they'll try and sell you anything at any time, no matter what. Like I remember when I first started to get into making money online, I discovered influencers like Iman Gadshi or Andrew Tate, I guess, when he came on the internet. And they intrigued me because they had all the money and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, you can do this without working a job? This is so cool. I can build something that's my own. That's awesome. But it's not that easy, right? It's more difficult than working a 9-to-5 job, which I've come to accept. Honestly, I want that life because working a 9-to-5 is just not my thing at all. Like, I will not have some 40-year-old boss tell me when I can eat lunch every day for the rest of my life. That just doesn't sound like a life that I'd enjoy, that I'd want for myself. And I think that pressure all of a sudden is super overwhelming when you're coming out of an environment like college where you don't have that much work, especially as a business major, as a freshman. There's like nothing to do during the day, barely anything. So putting all this pressure on you to make as much money as humanly possible, even to just live in like modern America with rent and food and groceries and all these prices that are just skyrocketing, especially after COVID, it's a lot. And I don't know if this feeling eventually goes away or if you just have to deal with the stress for the rest of your life, but like the path that I'm going down is not a very average path. And I know that. And I know that it's not supposed to feel very average. But right now it's kind of insanely overwhelming. But it's something that I will learn eventually to deal with and be totally fine and succeed. I know that I'll succeed. But I digress. I think capitalism is totally fine and everything. But I think with the introduction of the internet, it has made it so much more aggressive than it needs to be. Than it ever should have been. Because it's everywhere. I can't go 1 minute on my phone on any sort of social media without being bombarded with at least 5 advertisements for stuff that I just genuinely don't need. And that is extremely frustrating when I'm just trying to enjoy my life and not endlessly consume. And these social media apps that I'm on, they're designed to keep you on the app, and yet they bombard you with so many advertisements because they make so much money from their advertisements. And it's kind of weird how that works. And I think at some point you have to realize that money is constantly flowing. Like it never stops. It changes hands constantly over and over and over and over and over again. Never stops. It goes from one place to the other, from one person's bank account to a business's bank account, from the business's bank account to pay someone's salary, right? Like it's constantly moving, and that causes everything else to constantly move with it because everybody's always chasing it because you need it to live, obviously, but everyone's a little bit greedy inside as well. So they always want more of it so that they can buy and consume more. And I think it's a cycle that more and more people are slowly getting more fed up with, and they just want out. They want out of this cycle that doesn't bring them any meaning, doesn't bring them purpose, doesn't bring them joy. Because material things, believe it or not, don't actually really make you happy. Like, truly. Like, they can fill a void. They can feel like they make you happy for a little bit. But it's that emptiness is still going to be there at the end. Because it's an issue with you, like, internally, not externally. I think one of the purposes of life, one of the meanings of life on this planet is to produce something, is to create something that you can call your own to be fulfilled, because fulfillment is the most positive emotion I think you could ever feel. And with the amount of endless consumerism being shoved down everybody's throat, I think people have forgotten how to be creative and how to produce something that's truly theirs. Because everything in their life isn't theirs. Like, you go to school and you're forced to do work that's not yours. It's not your ideas. You don't want to do it, but you have to, right? Because you need to go to school. You need to get the good grades, because the good grades get you into a good college. And then the good college gives you more work that's not yours, that you don't actually want to do. But then, you get to pick your major or your subject or whatever you want to study. And then you get a good GPA, you get your degree, and then you go to a job that you don't want to do. Or maybe you do if you're lucky. But odds are you probably don't really want to do most of the things your job requires you to do. And then that job pays you money, which you need to survive. But you're also a little greedy, so you always want more. So maybe you take on more, but that you still don't want to do, and nothing's ever yours. And I've reached that point of realization in my life where I realized that nothing I've ever done was really mine. Like, I've had ideas, creative ideas, on stuff that I can do, like create a YouTube channel or start making music, because I'm passionate about those things. But I've never done it because I've been conditioned since the moment I was born to just consume, and never stop. Feed someone else's creative vision. And I finally hit my limit where I'm like, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm going to break the cycle. It's time to start doing my own thing.